Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Saturday, November the 6th. Well, it's the big one. Race number 12, the Breeders' Cup Classic at Del Mar. Let's throw up the field for this star-studded event. You can download free Formulator Pass performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Access them, handicap along with us. We're going 1.25 miles, and Mike, and you really can't ask for anything more than this. You've got the best older horse in the country, Knicks Go, who is on quite a roll, and of course won last year's Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. You've got the top 3-year-old routers in the country. Belmont Stakes winner Essential Quality, Hot Rod Charlie first in the Haskell in the Pennsylvania Derby, and of course the polarizing Medina Spirit first in the Kentucky Derby, and in winners of races such as the Pacific Classic, the Woodward, the Jockey Club Gold Cup. A pretty good field.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everybody's here, right? Everybody that you want to be in this race is in this race, and it's particularly compelling because the 3-year-olds all feel like they're pretty good, and they're taking on older horses for the first time.
And the key to this race might very well be the pace. Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Red bar, got to agree. Fast pace. Knicks Go likes the lead. Medina Spirit likes to be up front. Hot Rod Charlie likes to be close to the pace. Heck, Art Collector even went gate to wire in his last race. When Essential Quality is last on your Timeform US pace projector, you know they got to be smoking.
Yeah, it feels like there has to be a solid pace in this race, and it really does feel like it's the key to the race as well, Dan. How fast are these horses going to go early? Who does it compromise? Who does it help? I suppose one of the other, leading storylines here is, does the favorite Knicks Go want to even go 1.25 miles? He still has to prove that. And it just makes his job, I think, that much tougher that he has to do it on a fast pace.
Well, we know that one of the longer priced horses wants 1.25 miles, and that's the number 1 Tripoli, 15-1 on the morning line. Not only does he want 1.25 miles, he wants it at Del Mar. That's where he won the Pacific Classic 2 starts back. Not a banner edition of the Pacific Classic. He got close to the pace in that race, and then he got wired by Medina Spirit last time out. He's hoping that some home cooking at Del Mar wakes him up.
True enough. I mean, listen, I can certainly respect the fact that this is a horse who only recently switched over to the main track in his career. His last 4 starts are the first 4 dirt starts of his career. He won 2 of them. The first 3 were triple-digit buyers, including the Pacific Classic that you mentioned over course and distance. Those are all good things. He was, not really ever a real threat in the Awesome Again last time. I didn't think he got a particularly good trip in that race, wide all the way around the track, chasing Medina Spirit. Still remains to be seen if he's good enough to go with some of these horses, but he's, a horse who's going to be a big price, and it's far from impossible.
A horse that can pop at a price as well as the 2 Express Train, who's won 3 of 5 starts at Del Mar and has run some nice races at 1.25 miles, second in the Big Cap, second in the Gold Cup at Santa Anita. Third last time out in the Awesome Again, that was a race that Medina Spirit controlled up front. He's going to get a lot more pace. They're going to take him back. They're going to make one run. And if this thing melts down, maybe he gets a piece at a big price.
I can see him getting a piece of the race. I don't know if I can see him winning, Dan. I know that he's run okay at 1.25 miles in the past. I don't think it's a distance that he really, really wants, though. I think he might be a little bit better going shorter. I feel like he's one of the horses in here who, while he's run some good races, has some competitive form, he would really, I think, need to take a step forward to win this race.
Here's Hot Rod Charlie getting that well-deserved win in the Pennsylvania Derby. Finished first in the Haskell, was disqualified. Now, on the turn of this race, he drifted out into Midnight Bourbon, caused that horse to check very slightly. It didn't affect the outcome. And now you'll see Hot Rod Charlie being Hot Rod Charlie. He's a very quirky horse. He hops leads about 4 times in the stretch. He's also a very fast and talented horse. He ran a 111 buyer in this race. He beat 2 next out winners, both of those horses that earned buyer speed figures of 105 or greater. He has excellent tactical speed. Blinkers go on. Hot Rod Charlie, he might be his own worst enemy at times, but he can run.
Yeah, he's a really, really talented horse. He has worn race with blinkers in the past. They've been off for the last few races. Now they're going back on. I guess I can understand why they're doing that. At the end of the day, Dan, he's just a really talented horse ever since that Derby. And he ran okay in the Derby when he did finish ahead of Essential Quality. Since then, he just feels like he's gotten better with every race. You don't have to worry about distance with him. I think that there's maybe a question as to whether or not he's at his absolute best when he's on the lead, and he's probably not on the lead in this race. But he is going to be up close. I think he's as talented as anybody in this field, and I think he's a major, major player.
Consistency, thy name is essential quality. The only time out of the top three was in the Kentucky Derby. He got beat a length that day, finishing fourth after a wide trip. Here he is taking the Travers and utilizing his essential quality, his tactical speed. He can adapt to any race shape. In this race, the pace was slow. It was set by our good friend Midnight Bourbon. Essential quality parked himself off that horse on the turn. He wins a stiff drive with a 107 Beyer speed figure. He beat two minor next out winners. We know a mile and a quarter isn't a problem, and we know he can come from far back. He came from about 9 out of it to win last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Yeah, that's really the best thing about this horse. Not only is he just super, super consistent, it just shows up and runs every single time, but he does not need races to fall into his lap in order to run his best race. If the pace is slow, like it was in that Travers we just watched, he's just going to sit right up close. If they go fast, like it seems like they're going to do in here, he's just going to sit off of it and come with a big run off the turn. You just have to love that about this horse. There's nothing that flashy about him, Dan, but he shows up and runs every single time, and you really have to respect that.
Nixco likes the spotlight, obviously. He won last year's Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. He won the Pegasus World Cup. And after being a little subpar in the Saudi Cup and the Metropolitan Handicap, he has come back with 3 big races around 2 turns. He's passed a mile and an eighth test. Now he's got to go a mile and a quarter. His last race, the Lucas Classic, I guess he was flattered when that runner-up came back to win the Fayette by 7 with a 105 Beyer.
I suppose he was. It's interesting, Dan, because on the figures, especially the races 2 and 3 back, he's just supposed to be an absolute handful in here. I don't know. What I struggle with this horse is how much credit do I want to give him for being the supposed best older horse in the country, winning the Cornhusker and the Lucas Classic. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't care that he won those races. His Whitney was good. I'm not going to deny him that race. He ran very well in there. He's a wicked fast horse. He's going to be on the lead. He's supposed to take pressure in here. I don't know about a mile and a quarter. Listen, he's going to be the favorite. Is he the horse to beat? Yes, he is. I've never been sold on this horse, and I will not be betting him on Saturday.
Bill Mott's really improved. The 6 Art Collector, 3 for 3 under the Hall of Fame trainer's care, including this victory in the Woodward, going a 1-turn mile and an eighth, a race in which he was able to get to the front. He beats a solid enough group. Your Maxfields, your Dr. Posts, your Code of Honor. This is obviously a step up in class, but Art Collector has shown big speed in his last 3 races and versatile. He's won around 2 turns. He's won around 3. He's won around 1.
Yeah, I like those things about him. I guess we'll see, Dan. This is a pretty significant step up in class for this horse, even though this is a grade 1 win we're watching right now. I have to respect him just because he was, it feels like he got a little bit lost in the shuffle maybe towards the end of last year, but you have to remember that he was a really good 3-year-old early on before things just didn't necessarily pan out for him. He's come back very good for Bill Mott this year. The problem with him is each of his last 3 races, he's been right up there on the pace. I don't think that trip's going to work out for him against this field. He's a horse, 3 really good races in a row, yes, but 3 perfect trips in a row, too.
Stiletto Boy was 54-1 when finishing second to Medina Spirit in the Awesome Again Stakes. He's the longest shot on our morning line at 30-1 here. The Iowa Derby winner of 2021 also takes on older horses. No match for Medina Spirit in his last 2.
Yeah, and there's really no excuses to be made for him in those races, Dan. Medina Spirit is not the horse to beat in this race either. So there's a lot working against Stiletto Boy here. He's another horse, too. It just feels like he's probably at his absolute best when he can be on the lead. He can't make the lead in here. That was the case last time against Medina Spirit. They didn't even try to make the lead last time, and he was only second best.
Medina Spirit, of course, first in the Kentucky Derby. After being beaten in the Preakness, he came back with a hard-fought win at Del Mar in the Shared Belief, going a mile, a distance that might be a little short for him. He bounced back and looked a lot more comfortable, beating 3 of these in the Awesome Again. Medina Spirit went right to the front under John Velasquez. He coasts on home by 5, a career best 107 Beyer speed figure, and you just get the feeling this horse is rounding back into his best form. But is he at his best when he's on the lead?
It certainly seems like he is. We'll see how Johnny Velasquez and Bob Baffert want to play it here. They know where Nick's go is going to be. Do they want to come out of there and attack that horse early? Are they just going to try to get up close to him and see how that works out? It's very interesting, and the tactics are going to go a long way to deciding how the outcome of this race. I personally feel like this horse has really improved in his last 2 starts. And I just sort of felt like maybe among the 3-year-olds, he would be the least fancied of the 3. I'm not so sure he can't win this race, though.
Max Player loves 1.25 miles. He won the Suburban at this distance. He won the Jockey Club Gold Cup in this distance. It is worth noting that in both of those races, they've utilized newfound tactical speed, guiding him closer to the pace. Let's watch the Jockey Club Gold Cup, a race that didn't have a lot of pace. Now, the old Max Player would have been compromised. Not so this Max Player, who got close up to favored Forza d'Oro and storms on home to win with a 102 buyer. The good news is this. If they go fast, Max Player, I think, can revert to those late running tactics that served him well early in his 3-year-old year.
Yeah, I think so too, Dan. I think that is maybe the real question with him. You see how well he finished that Jockey Club Gold Cup off. It wasn't a great field and the pace wasn't fast, but he really finished in that race. The 1.25 miles is no problem for this horse. And I agree with you. I mean, I think you could argue that in his last 2 races, the difference has been the new running style. And it's, just sort of it's taken him to the next level. But, you and I remember this horse as a 3-year-old when he didn't have that speed. He still ran some good races. And it's really worth remembering that this horse was rushed pretty hard as a 3-year-old. I mean, after the Withers, Belmont Travers, Derby, Preakness, it just felt like way too much, way too soon for this horse. And he actually ran well in the first 2 of those to finish 3rd.
And after the Preakness, the Saudi Cup overseas, he's blossoming right now. That's where you're going as we throw up our top pick. This race could be run at a blazing pace. These front runners could be exhausted in the stretch. We know Max Player wants the 1.25 miles. He will stay at a price.
Yeah, I think so. And I felt like among the horses that I was really considering that he's just going to be the best price. So I'll take him on top here and hope he sits the trip and runs through the stretch. I really respect Hot Rod Charlie and Essential Quality. Listen, I'm against Knicks Go, Dan. Right or wrong, maybe he just goes to the front wires this field, and he'll prove me wrong for a final time this year, but I'm not betting that horse.
I'm with you as well. I don't want Knicks Go at a short price. I want him to prove it to me, going 1.25 miles in a race with other speeds. Essential Quality, again, it's not a sexy pick because he's not a sexy horse, but he shows up each and every time with a very good effort. I'm expecting another very good effort from a hard-knocking Essential Quality. 4-3-8-6 for me, 9-3-4-5 for Mike. It's the Breeders' Cup Classic, the main event of the 2-day Breeders' Cup extravaganza at Del Mar. Good luck.